Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 36th day of session, March the 5th, 2025, 68th Wyoming Legislature. Looks like we've got a full house. Ladies and gentlemen, may our chief clerk please call the roll.
Convening roll call for the 36th day of session, March 5th, 2025. Alamand? Andrew? Here. Angelos? Here. Banks? Here. Bear? Here. Brady? Here. Bratton? Here. Brown, Gary? Here. Brown, Landon? Here. Byron? No, Campbell, Elisa? Here. Campbell, Kevin?
Okay,
Chestic?
now I'm starting to get this. I'm hearing sounds from the wrong place all over this chamber. Please proceed, Chief Clerk.
Chestic? Here. Clouston? Here. Connolly? Over here. Davis? Here. Eklund? Here. Erickson? Here. Filer? Here. Geringer?
Excused.
Guggenmoss? Here. Haroldson? Here. Harshman?
Excused.
Heiner? Here. Heft? Here. Jarvis? Here. Johnson? Here. Kelly?
Here, ready to serve.
No, don't impersonate the other person. Just say here.
Knapp?
Here.
Larson Lloyd?
Here.
Larson JT?
Here.
Lawley?
Sorry, Chief, I was confused.
Lawley? Lean?
Here.
Locke?
Present.
Lucas?
Right here.
McCann?
Here.
Nicholas?
Here.
Ottman? Pendergraft?
Here.
Posey?
Here.
Provenza? Riggins? Rodriguez Williams? Schmid?
Here.
Sherwood?
Over here.
Singh? Singh?
Excused.
Smith?
Here.
Storer? Strock?
Here.
Stivar?
Present.
Tarver?
Here.
Thayer?
Over here.
Washut?
Where I belong.
Wasserberger? Wasserberger?
Here.
Webb? Weber? Worf?
Here.
Williams? Winter?
Over here.
Wiley?
Here.
Yin?
Here.
Mr. Speaker?
Where I'm supposed to be.
Singh?
Here.
60 present, 2 excused.
Thank you, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why, but that is horribly confusing. That is fantastic. You know, when you get used to something, you've been here for 2 months and you see Tom Kelly sitting right in front of you, and it's like, here's Guggenmoss, but Representative Nicholas is right where he always is, right there, solid as a rock, Representative Bauman. So, all right, cool. Well, I love you guys. You guys are, it's good to have you have fun and enjoy it. And it just reminds me of how neat this can be and how much you guys are, I'm glad to be here with you and serve and enjoy and start the day out with a laugh and kind of break the monotony of this. But we're drawing this to the end quickly, and I trust that we will finish strong and it'll be a good and productive day for the Wyoming 68th Legislature. So with that, Representative Smith, would you please lead us in prayer?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, our scripture for this morning is found in Hebrews 10. Knowing that God always keeps his promises, discover creative ways to encourage others and motivate them towards acts of compassion, doing beautiful works as expressions of love. This is not the time to pull away and neglect meeting together, as some people have formed the habit of doing. In fact, we should come together even more frequently, eager to encourage and urge each other onward as we anticipate the day of dawning. So I just felt that this was very fitting as we come to a close, and we're going to have a lot of free time. And so I think we just need to spend this time to encourage one another with those outbursts of love and encouragement and good deeds. And as we leave and depart, don't neglect meeting with one another. And so, like before, if you don't mind, when I'm done praying, just be unified and passionately pray the Lord's Prayer with me. So, Lord, we just come before you and thank you for joy, a joy that's unspeakable and full of your glory. Lord, we thank you that you allow us to just laugh and encourage one another. Lord, I just pray that as we finish up here, that we just finish out strong, focusing on the work that the people of Wyoming expect, and that we would represent them well. Father, I just thank you for all the promises that you have given us and that you have fulfilled. Lord, we just thank you for this body continuing to heal from all the sicknesses that we've all endured, and the loved ones that we have back home that are anxious to see us. Just allow us to travel safely back to our loved ones. And we just ask this in Jesus' name. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Representative Smith. Members and guests, please join me in the salute to our flag. Enjoy each other's company, ladies and gentlemen. Extend the right hand of fellowship, and then we will get this show on the road.
check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Check.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're back ready to come to order. We'll go ahead and continue on here. Got a bunch of paperwork to go through, ladies and gentlemen. What's that? Just one moment. I'm going to do my journal committee report.
Your journal committee reports that the Journal of March 4th, 2025 has been read and recommends that it be approved. Representatives Jarvis and Posey.
Thank you, reading clerk. Representative Filer, you got something for us this morning, sir?
Sure, Mr. Speaker, if that'd be all right.
Yes, please proceed.
All right, folks. This one came from another representative. So if you guys boo, it's not on me. But anyway, whoever came up with the word dentures really missed the opportunity to call them substitutes. By the way, that was Representative Bear.
Representative Larson, Lloyd, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Privilege of the floor, if I may, please.
Please proceed.
So, members of the House, last day or two, our schedule is sporadic and gets a little laid back, and I know it's, as we celebrate the thought of going home, that a lot of innocently intended mischief kind of comes to play. Remember, there is decorum in this body, and I would ask that we make sure that our innocent mischief is not at the expense of our chief clerk and her staff. They still have a lot to work to do, and as innocent it may seem, it can oftentimes distract and take the time that they need to get this work done. So please be considerate of that as we wind down the next 2 days. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. We appreciate that. Hear, hear. Agreed. Do we have any messages from the governor? Okay, messages from the governor.
March 4th, 2025, to the Honorable Bo Whiteman, Senate President, Wyoming State Legislature, regarding veto of Senate Enrolled Act Number 61 being original Senate File 103, terminating and defunding diversity, equity, and inclusion. Suspend further reading. Sincerely, Mark Gordon, Governor. March 4th, 2025, to the Honorable Bo Whiteman, Wyoming Senate President, regarding veto of Senate Enrolled Act Number 59 being original Senate File 127, Administrative Rules, Legislative Review. Suspend further reading. Sincerely, Mark Gordon, Governor. March 4th, 2025, the Honorable Chip Nyman, Speaker of the House, Wyoming House, regarding line item veto of House Enrolled Act Number 56, House being original House Bill 117, the Omnibus Water Bill Construction. Suspend further reading. Sincerely, Mark Gordon, Governor. March 4th, 2025, to the Honorable Chip Nyman, House Speaker, Wyoming State Legislature, regarding veto of House Enrolled Act Number 55, being original House Bill 79, bond elections, voter threshold requirement. Suspend further reading. Sincerely, Mark Gordon, Governor.
Thank you, reading clerk. Messages from the Senate.
Message number 464. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 22, ground for termination of parental rights guardianship, ayes 16, noes 15. Message 465. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 104, probate code revisions, ayes 30, noes 1. Message 466. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 125, defining health care and protecting the people's welfare. Ayes 26, noes 5. Message 467. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 91, petroglyph, pictograph, and historic inscription protection. Ayes 25, noes 6. Message 468. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 101, post-conviction DNA testing procedure amendments. Ayes 31. Message 469. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 107, freedom to work and build business. Ayes 30, noes 1. Message 470. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 167, Board of Chiropractic Examiners, criminal history records. Ayes 30, noes 1. Message 471. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 171, City and Town Regulatory Reduction. Ayes 28, noes 3. Message 472. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 160, Treatment Courts, Amendments 2. Ayes 28, noes 3. Message 473. Mr. Speaker, Senate File 34, School Finance, Routine and Major Maintenance Calculations. The Senate failed to concur on House amendments to the bill listed above by the vote indicated. Ayes 0, noes 31. Message 474. Mr. Speaker, the Senate appointed Senate conferees to meet with a like committee number 1 from the House on amendments to Senate File 34. The Senate conferees are Senator Rothfuss, Chairman, Senator Landon, Senator Olson. Message 475. Mr. Speaker, the Senate appointed Senate conferees to meet with a like committee number 1 from the House on amendments to House Bill 47. The Senate conferees are Senator Rothfuss, Chairman, Senator Driscoll, Senator Smith. Message 476. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 32, What is a Woman Act? The House bill listed above passed on third reading in an amended form by the vote indicated. Ayes 28, noes 3. The Senate respectfully asks the House to concur by adopting the listed amendments. Message 477. Mr. Speaker, the bill listed below passed the Senate on third reading by the vote indicated. House Bill 43, Age Verification for Websites with Harmful Material. Ayes 28, noes 3. Message 478. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 164, Medical Prescriptions, Off-Label Purposes. The House bill listed above passed on third reading in an amended form as follows by the vote indicated. Ayes 22, noes 9. The Senate respectfully asks the House to concur by adopting the listed amendments. Message 479. Mr. Speaker, the bill listed below passed the Senate on third reading by the vote indicated. House Bill 165, Ranked Choice Voting, Prohibition. Ayes 28, noes 3. Message 480. Mr. Speaker, the bill listed below passed the Senate on third reading by the vote indicated. House Bill 280, Sex Offender Registration. Ayes 27, noes 4. Message 481. Mr. Speaker, the bill listed below passed the Senate on third reading by the vote indicated. Senate File 198, State Shooting Complex Funding Amendment. Ayes 24, noes 7, excused 1. Message 482. Mr. Speaker, the bill listed below failed to pass the Senate third reading by the vote indicated. House Bill 121, Hospital Pricing Transparency. Ayes 14, noes 16, conflict 1. Message 483. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 133, Sanctuary Cities, Counties, and State Prohibition. The House bill listed above passed on third reading in an amended form as follows by the vote indicated. Ayes 27, noes 4. The Senate respectfully asks the House to concur by adopting the listed amendments. Message 484. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 137, Revisers Bill. The House bill listed above passed on third reading in an amended form as follows by the vote indicated. Ayes 31. The Senate respectfully asks the House to concur by adopting the listed amendments. Message 485. Mr. Speaker, the bill listed below failed to pass the Senate third reading by the vote indicated. House Bill 144, County Canvassing Board. Ayes 14, noes 17. Message 486. Mr. Speaker, the bill listed below failed to pass the Senate third reading by the vote indicated. House Bill 183, Net Metering Amendments. Ayes 15, noes 16. Message 487. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 259, Supplemental K-12 School Facilities Appropriations 2. The House bill listed above passed on third reading in amended form by the vote indicated. Ayes 23, noes 8. The Senate respectfully asks the House to concur by adopting the listed amendments. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk.
Thank you, Reading Clerk. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we do have our special event. They just showed up here, so if you would please. This morning, we have the privilege of welcoming some special guests from the Wyoming Girls and Boys State Program. These exceptional students were elected to their respective roles last summer and have dedicated time to learning about Wyoming's government right here in these chambers. To provide us with more insight into the program, we are joined by Wyoming Girls State Governor Aspen Sewell from Saratoga and Wyoming's Boys State Governor Tony Salgado from Cody. Representatives and guests, please help me welcome these fine young people to the House Chamber.
Thank you all very much. To start, I'd like to introduce my fellow delegates. Madison Gibson is our Secretary of State. Catherine Albrandt is our Treasurer. Chloe Fitzgerald is our Auditor. Liesl Botts is our Superintendent of Public Instruction. Ellen Fogg is one of our Girls Nation delegates. And Deanna Davis is our other Girls Nation delegate. However, she had another commitment and couldn't make it today. When I look back on the week I spent at Girls State in early June, I have a lot of thoughts. First of all, I feel that there's no way to adequately sum up the experience in 5 minutes, but I'll try my best. Going into the week, I had very little idea of what I had signed up for, and I had a rocky start when the bus that was supposed to pick me up completely forgot me. But hey, would it be an adventure without a bit of adversity? When I first got there, I was scared that I wouldn't make any friends and wouldn't enjoy the week in general, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I had worried in vain because Girls State ended up being not only my favorite part of the summer, but something that I would call a life-changing experience. I made new friends and deepened existing friendships. I learned about the court system, the Senate, and the House. I developed an understanding of our election system and its importance. And last but not least, Girls State opened my eyes to a whole new world of opportunity for me in the future. For those of you that are unfamiliar with how it works, approximately 90 girls from across the state, along with a plethora of volunteers and counselors, gathered at the Laramie County Community College for a week of learning, growing, and networking. Once there, the delegates were split into 6 cities, 2 political parties, and the courts, Senate, or House. I spent my time in the court system, so Monday morning started with a trip to the court building here in Cheyenne. Once there, we met our attorney advisors who graciously volunteered their time and expertise all week long. Throughout the week, I got to play the role of witness, defense counsel, and plaintiff counsel, culminating with being a prosecuting attorney in the historic Wyoming courtroom here in this building. Throughout the week, I got to hear about what was happening in the Senate and House from my city mates who spent their time there. Additionally, at the end of the week, the court system delegates got to watch a session in the House, one in the Senate, and a joint one between the two. This was an extremely informative experience for me because prior to this, I had little knowledge of how either house operated. I even left the week wishing I could have played a role in both houses as well as the courts. Something I knew very little about before attending Girls State was the election process. Along with actively participating in it and learning how it works, I gained an appreciation for it and a better understanding of its importance. I know that one of the best ways I can be an active citizen with a voice is through voting, and more importantly, informed voting. After Girls State, I have been more motivated to find true news and learn what is happening locally, nationally, and globally. Now, while learning about our system of government and the citizens who make it possible from the city level to the national level is intriguing, it has also impacted the actions I take every day. I learned that being involved doesn't only matter at the town or national level, but everywhere in between. Whether that be by serving in the legislature, working in the courts, voting in elections, running for a position on the local town council, going to school board meetings, or encouraging others to take part in the activities, we all have a role. I may not be old enough to vote in elections, but I am old enough to serve as student body president for Saratoga High School. I'm old enough to think about the classes I take and how they help me shape the future I want. For that reason, last semester I took College U.S. History, College American and Wyoming Government, and College Forensic Psychology. All of these classes expanded on things I had already been exposed to at Girls State, and further reinforced that I can see myself one day sitting where you are. But I don't need that to be a difference maker. Facilitating change starts in stewarding the roles I've already been blessed with. It means being the best school president I can be. It means stepping up and showing integrity in the little things in life. It means focusing on the bigger picture, not just me, me, me. It means being invested in the people around me and finding joy in their success. Being a citizen means being informed and involved. It means putting yourself out there and having fact-based as well as respectful discussion with people whose views might differ from your own. I also learned the value of admitting when you're wrong. It's not an admission of weakness as our culture would like to suggest, but instead it proves that you are strong enough to grow as a person. And these are all lessons that I walked away from Girls State with. I don't know how many people it took to make it possible for me to attend, but I wish I did so I could sincerely thank each and every one of them. These are all lessons that many people go their whole life without grasping. But as a 17-year-old, I already feel that I've been overwhelmingly blessed by wonderful mentors and leaders who have poured into me and have shown me how to live these values out. I left Girls State with a burning desire to be the best leader I could, and I know I'm not alone in this. When writing this, I reached out to the delegates in my city, and here's what they had to say. Sophie said, Girls State helped me step out of my comfort zone, find my voice, and grow as a person. I discovered my love for government and gained a deeper respect for our country. I'm grateful for the friendships I made and the amazing people I met along the way. Lindsay said, Girls State provided me with room to grow. The experience truly taught me how to be heard and respected, hold my independence, and express myself freely. And Kinley said, I had so much fun and would honestly recommend it to anyone who just wants to know how our government works a little bit more. It helped me to understand how it works and what goes on within it. I think Girls State should absolutely be held every year to provide girls with the opportunities that we had. These sentiments were shared by numerous others, including myself. And since Girls State, I have kept in contact with many of the amazing people I met. It's always fun to catch up at a state activity for a sport or club. Girls State was to me a prime example of how I could be a better leader, citizen, and student on many fronts. Truly, I'm so grateful for the experience and very thankful to everyone who made it possible for me to go. And I would recommend it time and time again to anyone who gets the chance. So thank you all.
Good morning, House Speaker Neiman and distinguished members of the legislature. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you all today. It is an honor to stand here and share an overview of the incredible experience that was Boys State last summer. This event was an exceptional opportunity for young leaders to come together and learn about government and the importance of civic engagement. Throughout the week, the delegates ranging from high school juniors all across the state have worked hard to understand the intricacies of our democratic system. They've ran for office, campaigned, and debated important issues, and learned about the responsibilities of public service through mock trials, mock Senate hearings, and city councils. This hands-on experience was invaluable as we all gained a deeper understanding of what it meant to be an active participant in our government. And I'd like to take a moment to introduce the delegates who held key leadership roles that week and who have demonstrated exceptional leadership and dedication. So with me today, we have the Secretary of State, Mr. Steele Davis from Grable, the State Treasurer, Mr. Brix Hooten from Lyman, and the State Auditor, Mr. Miles Bailey from Cody. I'd like to say that these young men have displayed great initiative, commitment, and the understanding of the political process throughout that week. And I believe that they are certainly ones to watch in the future. And as we reflect on that week, I want to acknowledge the importance of programs like Boys State, which prepare our future leaders by offering them the tools and knowledge that they need to succeed. I believe that many of these young men will go on to have profound impact on our state and our country in roles ranging from local leaders to lawmakers, business people, and even more. Before I finish, I'd like to ask if there are any current representatives who have attended Boys or Girls State here, and if so, would you please stand so we can recognize you as well. It's always inspiring to see how these programs shape the future of those who participate. So in closing, I want to express my gratitude to all of you for your ongoing support of initiatives like Boys and Girls State. Your commitment to fostering the next generation of leaders is truly appreciated. So thank you for your time and everything that you do to ensure that programs like this continue to thrive.
I would like to take this opportunity to be able to thank these young people for joining us today and wish them continued success in their lives and their careers as they move forward. I still remember going to Boys State, and I, believe it or not, I still have my Boys State t-shirt. Not kidding you, I still have my Boys State t-shirt. But the one thing I do remember the most about Boys State is we had an overzealous, well, not overzealous, an extremely committed ROTC officer that was with us in our dorm. And that man could teach you how to make hospital corners, and we could not go and eat breakfast until he could bounce a quarter off our beds when we made our beds. He would take to each one of our beds and he would see if he could bounce a quarter, and if he couldn't get that quarter to bounce, we would remake that bed while everybody else waited to eat breakfast. And it really motivated us to do the best job we possibly could. So Boys State and Girls State is an incredibly useful and valuable tool for the young people that are growing up. And so anytime you guys, and you will, you legislators, are going to have opportunity to be able to encourage the young people in our high schools to be able to participate in Boys State, I would encourage you to help those folks get there, because it is a life-changing opportunity and well worth the time spent. So it's wonderful to see these young people. Representative Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Privilege of the floor.
Please, sir.
Folks, I have two things I'd like to talk to you about. So folks, if you could look up towards the North Gallery. The good former speaker from County Number 1 likes to remind us that we're all going to end up as just pictures on the wall over there. And the work that we do will last for a long time. But those young folks that participated in Girls State and Boys State, they really did a good job. This last time around, I was able to participate as sort of a parliamentarian for them, and I really appreciated the work that they did. And so I just wanted to point that out and say, good job to our young folks. We really do have a bright future ahead of us with folks like them manning the station. And so that's point one of two. I don't have someone standing in the gallery. I just wanted to make that allusion. But we do.
Thank you for the exercise.
Yes, yes, excellent. Folks, it has been quite the session, and congratulations to the freshman class who has been here. We so much appreciate your work and just how much you've grown in these short days that have made up 2/3 of the time that you serve in this chamber. And one of those members, ladies and gentlemen, it is their birthday today. Representative McCann, it is his birthday today. So folks, if we can join, I believe this is the last birthday of the session. And so if we could just make this the most beautiful rendition of this happy birthday song. We had a choir in here the other day, folks. So just wanted everyone, please, let's give a happy birthday to Representative McCann. Thank you.
Congratulations, body. You actually drove the chief clerk from the chamber with that rendition. Oh, that was fantastic. You people are just amazing. All right. Happy birthday, Representative McCann. Glad you got to endure that. Appreciate the opportunity to be able to share that with you. All right. Let's see. Where are we at here now? Unfinished business. We'll go to enrolled acts. We are at that order of business of signing of enrolled acts. The first enrolled act for our consideration will be House Enrolled Act number 70. Reading clerk, please.
House Enrolled Act number 70 being original House Bill 43, an act relating to child protection, requiring age verification for visiting websites with material harmful to minors. specifying requirements and exceptions for age verification, specifying remedies, liability, and damages, specifying applicability, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I am about to sign Enrolled Act number 70, having been original House Bill 43. I have so signed. Congratulations, Representative Lawley. Next Enrolled Act for our consideration, number 71.
House Enrolled Act number 71, being original House Bill 165, an act relating to elections, clarifying that elections should not be conducted by ranked choice voting, clarifying that ballots are required to specify only one vote per office to be filled, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 71, having been original House Bill number 165. I have so signed. Congratulations, Representative Webb. Well done. Next Enrolled Act for our consideration, House Enrolled Act 72.
House Enrolled Act number 72, being original House Bill 280, an act relating to criminal procedure, reclassifying specified criminal offenses to require more frequent sex offender registry verification and prevent petitions to be relieved from sex offender registration, specifying applicability and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 72, having been original House Bill 280. I have so signed. Congratulations, Chairman Knapp. On to Senate Enrolled Acts. First one for our consideration, Senate Enrolled Act number 81.
Senate Enrolled Act number 81, being original Senate File 32, an act relating to speed limits, authorizing local authorities to set maximum speed limits on unpaved roadways without first conducting a speed study or justifying the maximum speed limit, requiring rulemaking and providing for effective dates, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 81, having been original Senate File 32. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act 82.
Senate Enrolled Act number 82, being original Senate File 196, an act relating to the protection of constitutional rights, amending the Second Amendment Protection Act as specified, creating exceptions to the Second Amendment Protection Act, creating a civil penalty, creating a criminal penalty, creating an exception to the Wyoming Governmental Claims Act, providing definitions, making conforming amendments, and providing for effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 82, having been original Senate File 196. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act for our consideration, number 83.
Senate Enrolled Act number 83, being original Senate File 22, an act relating to children, providing that the guardianship with a relative and a finding of unfitness may be ground for termination of parental rights as specified, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 83, having been original Senate File 22. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act 84.
Senate Enrolled Act number 84, being original Senate File 70, an act relating to public funds, amending specified statutory funds to remove their inviolate status in order to enhance their investment potential, establishing spending policies for specified statutory funds, providing for the investment of specified statutory funds, redirecting the deposit of investment earnings into the corpuses of specified statutory funds, removing specified statutory funds from the Pool A investment account, making conforming amendments, repealing inconsistent and obsolete statutory provisions, providing for the treatment of prior deposits, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 84, having been original Senate File 70. I have so signed. Next act for our consideration, 85.
Senate Enrolled Act number 85, being original Senate File 104, an act relating to the probate code, amending maximum values for certain proceedings relating to the probate of estates, clarifying the effect of certain disclaimers of property, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 85, having been original Senate File 104. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act 86.
Senate Enrolled Act number 86, being original Senate File 167, An act relating to professions and occupations, authorizing the Board of Chiropractic Examiners to obtain criminal background checks as specified, requiring applicants for licensure and licensees, subject to investigation and disciplinary action by the Board of Chiropractic Examiners, to submit fingerprints and other necessary information for a criminal background check, specifying applicability, requiring rulemaking, and providing for an effective dates, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I am about to sign Enrolled Act number 86, having been sent previously Senate File 167. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act for consideration number 87.
Senate Enrolled Act number 87, being original Senate File 107, an act relating to miscellaneous contracts and actions, providing that the contractual covenants not to compete are void, providing exceptions, specifying requirements for covenants not to compete for physicians, specifying applicability, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 87, having been original Senate File 107. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act, 88.
Senate Enrolled Act number 88, being original Senate File 101, an act relating to criminal procedure, amending the date of conviction for purposes of when a due diligence showing is required before post-conviction DNA testing, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 88, having been original Senate File 101. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act, 89.
Senate Enrolled Act number 89, being original Senate File 171, an act relating to cities and towns, amending requirements for conducting a boundary survey of cities and towns as specified, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 89, having been original Senate File number 171. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act, 90.
Senate Enrolled Act number 90, being original Senate File 160, an act relating to courts, amending the Court Supervised Treatment Program Act to include mental health treatment, authorizing court supervised treatment programs to accept participants from any other jurisdiction in this state, amending the Public Defender Act to allow the public defender to participate as a team member in court supervised treatment programs and represent participants in those programs, changing the term substance abuse to substance use, amending definitions, creating definitions, making conforming amendments, authorizing rulemaking, repealing provisions, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I am about to sign Enrolled Act number 90, having been original Senate File 160. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act for our consideration, number 91.
Senate Enrolled Act 91, being original Senate File 91, an act relating to crimes and offenses in state lands, creating a misdemeanor offense for injury to petroglyphs, pictographs, and historic inscriptions, providing penalties, providing for the surveying of petroglyphs and pictographs on state lands, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 91, having been original Senate File 91. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act for consideration will be House Senate Enrolled Act number 92.
Senate Enrolled Act number 92, being original Senate File 125, an act relating to the Wyoming Constitution, statutes, and rules of construction, providing a definition of health care generally applicable to law, providing findings, specifying exceptions, providing definitions, and providing for contingent effective dates, may be enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I am about to sign Enrolled Act number 92, having been original Senate File 125. I have so signed. Next Enrolled Act for our consideration and last, number 93.
Senate Enrolled Act number 93, being original Senate File 95, an act relating to banks, banking, and finance, providing for the conversion of special purpose depository institutions into public trust companies, amending capital startup requirements for special purpose depository institutions, amending deposit requirements, repealing requirements limiting depositors of special purpose depository institutions to legal entities and requirements of legal entities as specified, repealing the supervision fee for banks providing digital asset custodial services, providing for unexpended fees, requiring rulemaking, and providing for effective dates, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign, it's Enrolled Act number 93, having been original Senate file number 95. I have so signed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that moves us through our enrolled acts. Next thing we'll be looking at are our concurrences. We are at that order of business to request to concur with the Senate amendments to House bills. First message for our consideration is message number 478 in regards to House Bill number 164. Representative Williams, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move message number 478, being original House Bill 164, medical prescriptions, off-label purposes, and ask for your vote on concurrence. I'll turn the explanation over to the good bill sponsor.
Representative Brown, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What this body had done is they had amended out the word employer, and but they had not taken out all the wording necessary to remove that. So the Senate caught that and they took out on page 4, line 18, which removed the employer completely. And then on page 5, they took out the Severability Act because they said that's not necessary. It already has severability in it. So I would ask for concurrence on this. Thank you.
Members, for your first time, any discussion on the concurrence? Seeing no discussion, members, we are voting on the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 164. A majority of the elected members is required. The chief clerk will please call the roll.
Ellement, Andrew, Angelos, Banks, Bear, Brady, Bratton, Brown, Gary, Brown, Landon, Byron, Campbell, Elisa, Campbell, Kevin, Chestick, Clouston, Connolly, Davis, Eklund, Erickson, Filer, Geringer, Guggenmoss, Haroldson, Harshman, Heiner, Heft, Jarvis, Johnson, Kelly, Knapp, Larson Lloyd, Larson JT, Lawley, Lean, Locke, Lucas, McCann, Nicholas, Ottman, Pendergraft, Posey, Provenza, Riggins, Rodriguez Williams, Schmid, Sherwood, Singh, Smith, Storer, Strzok, Stivar, Tarver, Thayer, Washut, Wasserberger, Webb, Weber, Worf, Williams, Winter, Wiley, Yin. Mr. Speaker, are there any changes? Are there any changes? Closing vote. Vote closed. 54 aye, 7 no, 1 excused.
By your vote, you have chosen to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 164. Next message for our consideration is message number 476 on House Bill 32. Representative Williams, Chairman Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move message number 476, being original bill, House Bill 32, What is a Woman Act, and ask for your aye vote on concurrence. I'll turn the explanation over to the good bill sponsor.
Representative Lean, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Madam Chairman. There's 2 quick amendments made to this bill. Amendment number 1 comes to us on page 5, where the collection of data is only to be separated by sex if they're currently doing so. And I'm in favor of that. We're not going to add an extra layer to the data being collected. The second amendment comes to us on page 3, and I'll read it to you in the amended format. It would say, a person born with a medically recognized condition of disorder or difference of sex in sex development shall not be denied legal protections and accommodations afforded under applicable law. And I have spoken to legal counsel, and we do think that this clarifies for those individuals that need those protections to be able to have them, but not extend it beyond that. So I ask for your favorable consideration on concurrence.
Any further discussion on the concurrence? Seeing no discussion, members, we are voting on the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 32. A majority of the elected members is required. The Chief Clerk will please call the roll.
Ellerman. Andrew. Angelos. Banks. Bear. Brady. Bratton. Brown Gary. Brown Landon. Byron. Campbell Elisa. Campbell Kevin. Chestick. Clouston. Connolly. Davis. Eklund. Erickson. Filer. Geringer. Guggenmoss. Haroldson. Harshman. Heiner. Heft. Jarvis. Johnson. Kelly. Knapp. Larson Lloyd. Larson JT. Lawley. Lean. Locke. Lucas. McCann. Nicholas. Ottman. Pendergraft. Posey. Provenza. Riggins. Rodriguez Williams. Schmid. Sherwood. Singh. Smith. Storer. Strock. Stivar. Tarver. Thayer. Washut. Wasserberger. Webb. Weber. Worf. Williams. Winter. Wiley. Yin. Mr. Speaker, are there any changes? Are there any changes? Closing vote. Vote closed. 52 aye, 10 no.
By your vote, you have chosen to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 32. Next message for our consideration is message number 483 on House Bill 133. Representative Knapp, please.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I move message number 483 to House Bill 133, Sanctuary Cities, Counties, and State Prohibition, and ask for your favorable consideration on the concurrence. So basically what happened is they took our beautiful, perfect Mr. Potato Head, removed the ears, an eye, the upper lip, and we're left with a hanging eyeball and a lower lip. The first ones were technical considerations, including adding state to most of the line items. They did add on page 2, Part D, any person lawfully residing and domiciled in the state shall have a private right of action to file for a writ of amicus to compel any non-cooperating state or local official agency or employee to comply with the chapter. And so this used to have a criminal penalty into it. And what they did basically was made it to where it could be a civil action, removed anything that had to do with penalties. On page 3, three pages of amendments, by the way. On page 4, they cut what started to be the criminal penalty, removed all of page 5, except for the bottom. Page 6 continued to remove the fines. So used to be a $20,000 fine in here, and that got removed as well. Page 7 is totally removed. Look at what they've done to my boy. Regardless of that, in consulting with the bill originator, we would like to ask for a concurrence of aye on this message. Thank you.
Any discussion? Any discussion? I'm sorry, Dad. Any discussion? Seeing none? Members, you are voting on motion to concur with the Senate amendments to House Bill 133. A majority of the elected members is required. Chief Clerk, please call the roll.
Allemand. Andrew. Angelos. Banks. Bear. Brady. Bratton. Brown Gary. Brown Landon. Byron. Campbell Elisa. Campbell Kevin. Chestick. Clouston. Connolly. Davis. Eklund. Erickson. Feiler. Geringer. Guggenmoss. Haroldson. Harshman. Heiner. Heft. Jarvis. Johnson. Kelly. Knapp. Larson Lloyd. Larson JT. Lawley. Lean. Locke. Lucas. McCann. Nicholas. Ottman. Pendergraft. Posey. Provenza. Riggins. Rodriguez Williams. Schmid. Sherwood. Singh. Smith. Storer. Strock. Stivar. Tarver. Thayer. Washut. Wasserberger. Webb. Weber. Worf. Williams. Winter. Wiley. Yin. Mr. Speaker, are there any changes? Are there any changes?
Yeah, he stepped in the back.
Are there any changes? Are there any changes? Closing vote. Vote closed. 56 aye, 6 no.
By your vote, you have voted to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 133. Next message for our consideration, message number 487 to House Bill 259. Representative, or no, wait a minute. No, excuse me. Message 484 to House Bill 137. Representative Heiner, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I move message number 484, which is from the original House Bill 137 Reviser's Bill, and ask for your favorable consideration and vote aye on this. Members, as you are aware, the Reviser's Bill is a fluid document. It changes throughout the session as other wordsmithing and minor changes need to be made to some bills. There's 3 changes that they've added. One is in House Bill 90, the anthrax outbreak. It requires a study or a report, but they wanted to put in there the actual statute that requires that report. So they added that rather than just saying protocol required by Section 1 of this act. They actually put in there the statute. The next one is in Senate File 152, Wildfire Management Amendments. Concerning the state forester required, it said privately contracted private fire resources, and they added the word wildfire resources, just for clarification. And the last one was on the Management Audit Committee, whereas we don't have a supplemental budget for this year, it had in there the appropriation from the 2025 budget. That is no longer in place. So they're changing that to any required funding will be through the 2026 legislative appropriations bill if there is any funding required. So with that, I ask for your favorable consideration.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Any members' discussion? Representative Yin, discussion.
Mr. Speaker, and maybe I'll just take this offline to LSO afterwards. The one part, is this the one part about the Management Audit Committee? Was that in the bill that was vetoed? And is that something that we have to strike from this bill? I don't know. So I'm going to assume that it'll be okay, but I think we still need a vote aye here just in case.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. Members, you're voting on the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 137. A majority of the elected members is required. Chief Clerk, please call the roll.
Allemand. Andrew. Angelos. Banks. Bear. Brady. Bratton. Brown Gary. Brown Landon. Byron. Campbell Elisa. Campbell Kevin. Chestick. Clouston. Connolly. Davis. Eklund. Erickson. Feiler. Geringer. Guggenmoss. Haroldson. Harshman. Heiner. Heft. Jarvis. Johnson. Kelly. Knapp. Knapp. Larson Lloyd. Larson JT. Lawley. Lean. Locke. Lucas. McCann. Nicholas. Ottman. Pendergraft. Posey. Provenza. Riggins. Rodriguez Williams. Schmid. Sherwood. Singh. Smith. Storer. Strock. Stivar. Tarver. Thayer. Washut. Wasserberger. Webb. Weber. Worf. Williams. Winter. Wiley. Yin. Mr. Speaker, are there any changes? Brown, Landon, no to aye. Further changes? Further changes? Closing vote? Vote closed. 62 aye.
By your vote, you have voted to concur with the Senate amendments to House Bill 137. Next message for our consideration, message number 487 to House Bill 259. Representative Bear, Chairman Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move message number 487, original House Bill 259, supplemental K-12 school facilities appropriations number 2, and ask for your favorable consideration. Folks are going to ask for an aye on concurrence on this bill. I'll refresh your memory. This is where we took care of our K-12 capital construction. That's what this bill was. When it left this body, we had accepted the governor's recommendation. It started out different, and we went through several iterations, and we ended up at the governor's recommendation, which was the same as JEC and the previous JAC from the 67th legislature. So then it went over to the other body, and in committee, they removed the high school from my community, and they put in just the funding for planning and preparation, with the intention of funding the rest of it next year in the supplemental the biennial budget. And so that's how it went to the floor, and there were several attempts there to get the funding back in there for that high school from Campbell County. And in the end, they did fund it, but they did it differently. We had put in into a different bill $20 million for getting the shovel going until the rest of the funding came in. They took that same approach in this bill. So they have got all of the funding in there for the planning, but also $20 million for getting the shovels going right away. And then they did one other thing. They put the entire funding in, but not effective until the summer of 2026. So the funding will be there, but it's not moved to the construction account. So the construction department doesn't have control of that funding until June of 2026. I've spoken to several members of our body from my county, and we feel that that'll get the project going and the funding will be available on time to continue getting the construction done. So with that, I would ask for your aye vote. There were some technical corrections also, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward what they did. And we're basically where we were when it left this body. The only difference is those funds are delayed until July of 2026.
Thank you, Chairman. Any others for their first time? Any others for their first time? Representative Clouston.
Thank you, Majority Floor Leader. Ladies and gentlemen, I sat with the Senate till 7:30 last night trying to babysit this baby, and I'm pleased with it. So we don't get all the money right away, but the money's there. It accomplishes everything that we wanted. It gets shovels in the ground probably at least 8 months earlier than if we would have delayed another year. So thank you, everyone, for your support on this. It was a lot of hard work, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Clouston. Speaker Nyman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Floor Leader. Good question for the Chairman of Appropriations. How does this affect the profile based on how they've designed this revenue stream and how this is being laid in? How does this affect our profile? Just out of curiosity question.
Anyone else for the first time? Anyone else for the first time? Representative Nicholas, I see you're going with fast fury there. Representative Nicholas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great amendment, in part because our good friends at Construction Management for Schools require fully funding before they begin, or at least the obligated funds before they take on a project. So I think this was a compromise to fully fund it, to make sure that we actually get shovels in the ground, and so on and in favor.
Any other? Representative Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to answer the Speaker's question, on your goldenrod, it ends at this biennium, which is 2025, at the end of this, I'm sorry, 2026, and that's June 30th of 2026. So you won't see anything on your goldenrod that goes into 2026, July 1st and beyond. That's the next biennium, which will deal with that next session when we do the budget, the biennial budget. It'll start on July 1st of 2026, because the funding for the high school in question starts, the bigger part of it starts on July 1st of 2026. It will show up on our long-term profile, but not on your goldenrod. And that's a, there's a chunk that will show up on your goldenrod, and that's basically what we had put into that other bill, that $20 million to get the shovels moving. And so there really won't be any difference from where we were yesterday during the day on our goldenrod. But now, next year, when we do our budget, this will be included, and that will show up on the following goldenrod, and it will be on our long-term profile. That's something that I've encouraged you all to take a look at, as our long-term profile. We're going to be trying to get that all online where you can look at that at any given time. We have a copy of that upstairs on the entrance to the House side of the Joint Appropriations Committee room. We really want to be looking at that long-term profile. So I appreciate the question from the Speaker. This won't show up until the 26-27 biennium, the majority of this funding for the school.
Thank you, Chairman. Any other questions? Any other discussion? Seeing none, members, you are voting on a motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 259. The majority of the elected members is required. The Chief Clerk will please call the roll.
Ellamand. Andrew. Angelos. Banks. Bear. Brady. Bratton. Brown Gary. Brown Landon. Byron. Campbell Elisa. Campbell Kevin. Chestick. Clouston. Connolly. Davis. Eklund. Erickson. Filer. Geringer. Guggenmoss. Haroldson. Harshman. Heiner. Heft. Jarvis. Johnson. Kelly. Knapp. Larson Lloyd. Larson JT. Lawley. Lean. Locke. Lucas. McCann. Nicholas, Ottman, Pendergraft, Posey, Provenza, Riggins, Rodriguez Williams, Schmid, Sherwood, Singh, Smith, Storer, Strock, Stivar, Tarver, Thayer, Washut, Wasserberger, Webb, Weber, Worf, Williams, Winter, Wiley, Yin. Mr. Speaker, are there any changes? Closing vote. Vote closed. 62 aye.
By your vote, you have voted to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 259. That is one of the first times all 62 have been there. In this whole session, ladies and gentlemen, that is one of 2 votes that we had all members that voted an aye on that. That's kind of a novel look here on this screen. It's too late. All right, next we have a concurrence message number that failed, message number 473 in regards to Senate File 34. I do believe Representative Baer we need to name conferees, and so Representative Baer, go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, typically I see this happen from your desk, but I'll go ahead and move message number 473 and ask for, I think the other body already failed to concur, so this is coming from their end, and we need to name a committee. So
Yep.
I would just ask, sir, that you would go ahead and do that.
Okay, committee conferees are going to be Baer, Chairman, Smith, and Ottman. We'll be dealing with that issue, message 473 on Senate File number 34. Okay, Chief Clerk, what else have we got going here? We good for a minute? Okay, we do have one veto override here that we're looking at. Body, this is, and we don't have to change any rules, we don't have to do nothing. We can openly do this right now. This is a proper time to be able to move this. This is a veto override in regards to ALEC number 55 to House Bill number 79, bond elections voter threshold requirement. Left this House with a commanding number of majority votes. And so if the members are ready, we can get ready. They're going to put this together here for us. And hang on one moment, please. The veto message, if you want to read it, is on the right-hand side of the bill page online. So if you want to look at that, you can get a look at the message. You want to stand at ease? Just relax, people, just for a second. I don't know if you could do a better job of relaxing than you're doing right now, but just hang tight just for one moment. Okay, I will need my majority floor leader, wherever he has Evaporated too. Yeah, if somebody wanted to go and gather up the majority floor leader, he will need to make this motion. Members, just for some information's sake, this bill passed out of our House with a vote of 57-4, with one excused. So, yes, 55, 79. Yep. I'll hold this piece up here. So, all right, majority floor leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Pursuant to Article 4, Sections 8 and 9 of the Wyoming Constitution, I move that the House of Representatives override the governor's veto of, is it a Senate file or a House? House Enrolled Act number 55, being an original House Bill number 79, bond elections, voter threshold requirement.
The motion to override the governor's veto of the House Enrolled Act number 55 being original House Bill number 79 is in order, and the vote to override is debatable and requires a 2/3 majority of the members elected. Is there any discussion? Representative Larson.
Mr. Chairman, or Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to opine on this just a little bit. I'm going to support the governor's position on this, even though I voted for the bill as it come out of this body. The thing that has bothered me on the bill, and it did a little bit at the time, is we've been working a lot on voter rights and in the privileges that, the rights that come with voters. There's also a responsibility to us as citizens when there's an election to go vote. And just because we don't show up to vote on a bond shouldn't nullify the vote of those that did, even if it's under this threshold. And it can have, I don't argue with the premise of this bill that sometimes it may be a very small minority that brings into this bond. Well, shame on the people that didn't go vote. And I think that we're just, I think that we also, as far as protecting voter rights and ensuring all of that, we also have to maintain the expectation that voters have a responsibility to vote. So I'm going to sustain the governor on this veto.
Any other representatives? Representative Williams, first time, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I love this bill and I voted for it. But when you consider rural counties and the position we're placed in the wake of Senate File 69, we're going to be scrambling. And some of this will involve bond issues. And so I hesitate to make it any harder for us to make ends meet in the aftermath of Senate File 69. And so I will be voting to uphold the governor's veto.
Representative Nicholas, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not read the governor's letter, please pull it up on your screen and read it, because it's discussions that we did not have on this floor, or considerations when we voted for this out of this body. And I would concur with his letters that this bill is in all probability unconstitutional because it disenfranchises certain votes in the process of the way it's constructed. And because of that, it doesn't make sense to us to pass this bill out or override this, to come back here a year or 2 years from now after it's gone through the court processes to do this all over again. And so I think there's a better way to do it. Let's get this right if we choose to do it. But I think we need to sustain his veto.
Representative Alleman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I live 25 miles from my polling place, and 12 of it is dirt road. I will get to that precinct place. I don't care if it's muddy or a foot of snow. I will be there to vote, and I think we should override this veto and go on our way. Thank you.
Representative Brown. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I really, really appreciate the message that was received on this. And I actually spoke to the sponsor of the bill and had a good conversation. And I think the best thing that came out of that conversation was an agree to disagree, right? I think that's probably the most healthy thing that we can do at this point. I actually agree wholeheartedly with the last line in the veto message. It's the person's responsibility. It's a voter's responsibility. And I think the bigger concern after I spoke with the sponsor on this bill is nobody knows about it. That's an educated electorate. Ladies and gentlemen, that's their job. And so I think what we do, if we do override this veto and we do send this down and we put this into law, we actually are starting to set a potentially dangerous precedent. What happens if only 10% of the voters in your district show up to vote? Are we going to invalidate the election that put you in these seats? And that we make you restand for another election until you get a plurality of the people that are eligible to vote in your district? I actually do believe, as the good former person up here said, it's probably unconstitutional for that basis. I don't disagree that there's not good understanding about what's on bond elections and what's out there and how these things are up there. That's fine. Let's put a statute in there that says, hey, look, they need to make that better. Let's make these bond elections more noticed. Let's make sure that they put an ad in the paper or something. But invalidating somebody's right to vote by saying, no, there wasn't enough people here, so this election doesn't count, I think that's a really, really slippery slope of potential issues in the future. So I don't want to go down that road, and I agree with the good sponsor. We'll agree to disagree, but I would ask for a no vote on this veto override.
Any other members? Representative Knapp, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would speak on that last point of I believe we should override this veto. This is a bond election. This isn't representatives. We'd seen this session bills for that in runoff elections. This is a bond election. Whether or not you're going to tax yourself, that to me deserves a majority of the people to do that. So I would speak in overriding this veto.
Representative Washington.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So in my estimation, the only thing that's changed since we voted for this bill and today is what we've done in regards to taxing property taxes. And so I don't think that these property taxes are going to be as difficult to manage in my county. But in these rural counties without backfills, I think that's an issue that did change since I voted for this bill a few weeks ago. And so I think I am going to vote to sustain the governor's veto because these bond elections might be the only way for the people in these counties to address some needs. And I think that this provision might unduly limit the ability of those counties to juggle some difficult times ahead.
Representative Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think I'll vote to go with the governor on this one also. You know, in my particular instance over there, there's 13 municipalities. Each one of them, I mean, the average population is under 400. You know, so word of mouth is how these education goes. So the amount of voters that turn out, usually the ones that are against the bond are the ones that'll turn out, you know, because it's going to go forth, you know, because the majority is going to say. So I'm going to run with the governor on this one.
Representative Locke, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On and for overriding this veto, it couldn't have been said any clearer. These are for, you know, an opportunity for people to tax themselves. People need to be there. We need to make sure there's a fair number of votes. A small number of people shouldn't be taxing the entire group of people. On and for the override.
Representative Geringer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This was a tough one for me. I was very much a supporter of this bill as we were discussing it, but it led to something, the governor's message led to something that I really hadn't considered much, and that was the de facto voter disenfranchisement that occurs here. We have votes cast that are being invalidated. And I understand that it's just a bond election, but it is still an election. So is there a different way that we could approach this in order to get the idea behind this bill passed in another format that allows us to not take such a small voter participation and turn that into something that could be taken away? And so it's a struggle, but I think in the end, I think there's probably another way to approach this. And so I'm gonna have to go with upholding the veto on this.
Representative Kelly, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is not a struggle for me. In retrospect, I believe I voted incorrectly the first time around. It was back in January, wasn't as experienced as I am now. And I remember why I voted, because I was a victim of this type of bond election when I lived in the state to the south. This type of thing where they put a tax increase on the ballot in an off-year election, flies under the radar, organized interests push it through, and then people see their tax bill go up and they didn't even know there was an election. And I was one of those people who got cheated like that. I was going to use a different word, but we have to maintain decorum. So my gut reaction, and probably coming down with the flu at the time, feeling cantankerous, was like, yeah, we're going to show those local governments. But upon reflection, now looking at it from the philosophical principle of governance, this is the wrong way to go about it. And for the record, the governor's letter had absolutely no effect on me. This is just my own personal reflection.
Representative Larson, JT.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, in my Republican primary, I was not selected by a majority of the eligible Republican voters. And yet I have the ability to make decisions on taxes up or down as I sit here representing my entire district. So I will be voting to uphold the veto. I'll be voting no on this and encourage you to do so as well.
Thank you, Representative. And gentle reminder to all of you, we use chief executive and we don't put out party names. So we just heard that. So Representative Wiley, please, for your first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, a few years ago when I first started speaking to groups of folks and giving them reasons to send me here, I said, you know, your vote's sacred. And that's one thing that we should not impede on. And looking at this, I think I'm going to stand with the veto and uphold it, because there's a difference between getting people to come out and vote and energizing the electorate, and then not listening to the folks that do come to speak their vote that's given to them, and that is sacred. So I'm going to stand with that.
Representative Lawley, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am going to vote to uphold the veto. And really, I think the representative from Senator State earlier said it well. When I voted in favor of this bill, we had secured on our side here backfill for hardship counties and special districts. That went away when the Senate unilaterally decided we wouldn't have a supplemental budget. We tried over and over again to add that in to many of the bills that we had, but right now it stands where we have nothing for hardship counties. We have nothing for special districts. And this does, I think, as the letter from the chief executive points out, it really does begin to limit. So where does it end? Where does our micromanagement of local government end? Well, for me, it starts here, and I will vote to uphold the veto. Thank you.
Representative Wharf, for your first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Maybe in a lack of judgment, I'm going to stand up and speak. I guess as I look at this and weigh in on this issue, I'm going to stand with the veto override for the main reason that I think it's not a good form of governance to be doing things with the minority. And I look at it, to me, if people don't show up, to me, that's a no vote. And I think if we have such a small level of participation, I'd rather assume that the majority of the people that chose not to participate actually participated by not participating and cast a no vote. Those that showed up and voted aye for something, if they couldn't mobilize, if the issue didn't mobilize enough people in the community to cause action by the government, I don't think we should be. When I weigh issues here, I look at it, if it's 50-50, half the people want it, half the people don't, to me, that's not good legislation. And I think if you only got less than 25% of the people weighing in on an issue, I don't think the government's been informed enough to make a valid decision. So I would prefer to assume that those that don't participate are casting a no vote, and therefore I object with this the veto. I think we should override it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any other representatives for their first time? Seeing none, second time? To the bringer. Well, I just wanted to give you a chance because this is your bill. I wanted you to make sure that you had a chance to close. Representative Stivar, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On and for the override. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a bond election. And the problem is the information is not getting out there. The last bond election we had in this county was 4.84%. 374 people voted in that election. And there was 7,760 that were eligible. Nobody knew about it. This is going to force the fire district or whatever special district out there to get the information out there so people can get out and vote. They don't know, they're not going to go vote. So on and for the override.
Thank you, Representative Stivar. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just for explanation, the motion is to override the governor's veto. So that motion would mean that if you vote aye, you are voting to override the veto. If you vote no, you are not voting to override the veto. You are voting to go with the governor's decision. An aye will override him, a no will move and stay with the governor's decision. So with that in mind, the motion to override the governor's veto to House Enrolled Act number 55, being original House Bill number 79, Chief Clerk will please call the roll.
Allemand. Aye. Andrew. Aye. Angelos. Aye. Banks. Aye. Bear. Aye. Brady. Aye. Bratton. Aye. Brown Gary. Brown Landon. No. Byron. No. Campbell Elisa. No. Campbell Kevin. Chestick. No. Clauston. No. Connolly. No. Davis. No. Eklund. No. Erickson. No. Filer. No. Geringer. No. Guggenmoss. Aye. Haroldson. Aye. Harshman. No. Heiner. Aye. Heft. Aye. Jarvis. No. Johnson. Aye. Kelly. No. Knapp. Larson Lloyd. No. Larson JT. No. Lawley. No. Lean. Aye. Locke. Aye. Lucas. Aye. McCann. Aye. Nicholas. No. Ottman. Aye. Pendergraft. Aye. Posey. No. Provenza. No. Riggins. Aye. Rodriguez Williams. Aye. Schmid. Aye. Sherwood. No. Singh. Aye. Smith. Aye. Storer. No. Strock. Aye. Stivar. Aye. Tarver. Aye. Thayer. No. Washut. No. Wasserberger. Aye. Webb. Aye. Weber. Aye. Wharf. Aye. Williams. No. Winter. Aye. Wiley. No. Yin. Mr. Speaker, are there any changes? Angelos? Are there any changes? Closing vote. Vote closed. 35 aye, 27 no.
By your vote, you have failed to override the governor's veto of House Enrolled Act number 55, being original House Bill number 79. All right. Should we just one moment? Representative Connolly,
Mr. Speaker, privilege of the floor.
please proceed.
I have some folks here handing out a little present to everyone in the body. And I would just like to say, I'm doing this because you can only live once. And we need to leave the gun and take the cannoli. So everybody enjoy.
Representative Cannoli, you are as sweet as they make them. I kid you not. What a wonderful thing to do for the body. Thank you. Thank you very much, Representative. Representative Nicholas, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So if there are people here who can only eat shrimp versus crab, then we will also have shrimp tonight at the crab night. And our lovely little handout gave the wrong address. So it's 6225, not 2225. So 6225. And if you can only come, that would be great.
Wouldn't that have been something if everybody just showed up at that address? Okay, now we do have some other things here that we need to chat about briefly before everybody breaks here and takes off as like herding cats. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to have, and the good majority floor leader is going to talk about this. We've got some discussions that we need to have as a house, a whole house caucus. We've got a situation that is coming forward from the other body, and I want to know what you guys want to do with it. And so we need to sit down and have that conversation. And this is the whole house caucus, so what we'll do is we're going to break for lunch, I'm sure, but I'll have the good majority floor leader come with the time, and I'd like for us to meet down at the Supreme Court room. It will be not a long meeting. We've got a couple of concurrences that we want to talk about on some legislation we just sent back, but also in regards to actually a bill that was just generated. And so, and I would like to know what you guys want to do. And we want direction from my body before I go and jump and do something here. So we need to chat. So with that, Mr. Majority Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that we adjourn for a whole house or not adjourn, we recess for a whole house caucus in the historic Supreme Court room. It'll take about 10 or 15 minutes is all, and then we have lunch and reconvene at 2 p.m.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's prime rib. So let's try to make this as short and as effective as we possibly can. So Supreme Court room, thank you. House stands in recess.